Do you heed warnings? Maybe more people should heed a warning if a learned scholar gives one. Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and for 2026, I'm going to attempt to do something that may be a little foolish. I want to attempt to do a short review or an impression of every book that I read this year. The first book that I finished for 2026 was The Nazis, A Warning from History by Laurence Rees. The audiobook was narrated by Jonathan Keeble. This book was originally published in 1997 in the UK. It was published as a companion volume to the landmark BBC television documentary series of the same name, which aired in 1997. The book expands on the series with fuller transcripts, additional interviews, and deeper historical analysis. For 16 years, Laurence Rees interviewed a large number of former Nazis, and his unique insights into the Nazi psychology and World War II received enormous praise. At the heart of this book lie compelling eyewitness accounts of life under Adolf Hitler, spoken through the words of those who experienced the Nazi regime at every level of society. An extensive new section, Nazi-Soviet War, published previously in Rees's War of the Century, provides chilling insight into Nazi mentality during World War II. Now, I have not read, or I should say, I did not watch the BBC documentary series, but it is available from my public library. So that is something that I actually want to do. Now, it is important to say that this book is essentially the 1997 text. There's a little bit of updating. The author mentioned that when records or archives were released after the book was first published, he revised his opinion on the final solution about how that came to be. For this new release, Reese mentioned that he has revised his opinions on how the final solution came to be. A lot of people talk about the Wannsee Conference. It's a common misconception that this is where the Holocaust was decided. This conference actually just transformed an ideological hatred into an efficient and normalized bureaucracy. And the thing that he mentioned was there was evidence that a lot of women and children were being killed in Russia before this conference happened. And this was known to the Nazis at this conference, and it just sort of normalized how humans could be killed efficiently and regularly without any real consciousness on their part. So that part was rather chilling. Now, the thing about this book that I was a little disappointed in, I wanted a little bit more of how the Nazis rose to power and why people supported the Nazis. There is some good information on that subject in the beginning of this book, but I went into this thinking they'd be more detailed. It wasn't, but that doesn't mean it's a bad book. It just did not meet what my expectations were. Now, I know a little bit about World War II history. I have read a number of books or listened to a number of audiobooks on this subject. So a lot of this book was rehashing for me. And the thing about this book is it's a very good introduction to this subject if you do not know what was going on in World War II and exactly how the Nazis rose to power. It is so chilling how they rose to power and how Reese was saying, this is a warning. This is how dictators come to power, and how no one has heeded his warning. And this book was written in 1997 and revised around 2010. So there's plenty of evidence, plenty of time for people to have read books like this and take heed of the warnings from historians like Laurence Rees. For 2026, I want to introduce a new rating system of my own. It ranks from bloody hell yes, yes, maybe, no, hell no, and bloody hell no. And to emphasize these ratings, I'm going to give you a visual image of how I like this book. Tell me if you like the visual image idea. My ranking for The Nazis, A Warning from History by Laurence Rees is a yes. This almost was a hell yes if there was a little more focus on the psychology of the population who followed Adolf Hitler. And that's important because I did discover that Laurence Rees has written a few other books that are probably much more in tune with what I was looking for. There are two other books by Laurence Rees that I'm highly interested in reading. Hitler's Charisma, Leading Millions into the Abyss, 2014. This is the focus of Laurence Rees's social, psychological, and historical investigation into a personality that would end up articulating the hopes and dreams of millions of Germans. In The Nazis, there is a section where Rees describes the ordinary German feeling towards Hitler as almost a religion. Do you see some parallels with today's society? The second book I'm interested in is The Nazi Mind, 12 Warnings from History, published in 2025. How could the SS have committed the crimes they did? How were the killers who shot Jews at close quarters able to perpetrate this horror? Why did commandants of concentration and death camps willingly, often enthusiastically, oversee mass murder? How could ordinary Germans have tolerated the removal of the Jews? Yeah, I think I need to read The Nazi Mind. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.